Hey, welcome everyone. This is the rider safety session number 3, where we talk about medico-legal. And let's hear from Dhiren, who's our host for this entire 5 series episode on rider safety. This rider safety is hosted and supported by Jumpstart Outdoors, which is the main uh, team behind educating us on the rider safety. It's supported by Roaring Cycles, your platform where your stories are told, and Let's Ride, the riding gear store based out of Mumbai. I will not add any further words. I'll let Dhiren talk about medico-legal in the session number 3. Dhiren, over to you, please.
Thank you so much. Today's session, we are going to talk about a little bit of medical legal issues. And uh, what it generally means is while we are out in the field, a lot of us sometimes even have some basic idea of what to do, but we sort of decide not to do that or help out a particular person because we feel that we might then be in a problem with the authorities, maybe with the police or maybe insurance companies, or maybe the somebody will come and tell us that you have to come to court now or to the police station now. And because we are unsure of what we can do to keep ourselves legally safe, we sometimes shy away from helping a person. And it has happened to a lot of us. And even before I could actually, before I learned how to help people out, or before I learned first aid itself, even I was easily persuaded from staying away from an accident because police complaint ho jayega. What if somebody blames you? What if you have to go to the court every time there is something wrong which goes on? So all of these things keep on bothering us, and they sort of become a roadblock for us when it comes to helping a person. World over, various countries, you see that the rules and regulations that are there are so that people are encouraged to help out somebody who's in a distress. Okay, if there's a road accident, uh, people, instead of just leaving the person over there, they should go out and help. So for that, there are certain rules and regulations that have come up, and today we are going to learn about this. So those rules and regulations are known as medical legal issues. So let's see what our medical legal issues look like. Okay, so I'm going to share a video with you before, and we have seen this video earlier uh, when we were looking at an unresponsive patient. Okay, so first things we need to realize is, even if you want to help somebody, getting their consent is very important. All right. So if you say you find a person who's injured uh, next to the road or somewhere, if the person is responsive, go outright and ask them if they need help. Okay, start with telling them, "Hi, my name is Dhiren. I am a first responder. Do you need my help?" Okay. If the patient says yes, great. The patient was responsive. They were able to give you their consent. However, if the patient is unresponsive, we need to figure out if as in what level of responsiveness the patient is at, right? Because say if there's somebody sleeping, it does not mean they are unresponsive. It could only mean that they are sleeping. So we need to make sure if these patients are unresponsive. We have to make sure they are unresponsive by doing shout, tap, pinch. Okay. Okay, so first I try a verbal stimulus or a voice stimuli to make sure that the patient is awake, or maybe the patient will awake from their sleep. Okay, if they do not respond to my verbal stimulus or my voice, then I go on to give them a painful stimulus. Okay, in which I pinched them to see if they are awakened because of the pain that I'm inducing. And if they don't respond to any of these, then this patient is a unresponsive patient, is an unresponsive patient. So these are the three things we try to ascertain. Once we have done this, okay, we are sure that the patient is unresponsive, and then we can go ahead and start helping them out on the doctrine of uh, implied consent. Okay, implied consent means that because the patient was unresponsive, and was not able to do what was in their best interest to save their life, the law says that you are free to help them. Okay. There are some other doctrines also. So let's go through them. Okay. Now these are the things that we need to take into consideration when we are looking at what the medical legal issues are. Okay. Now, सबसे पहले जो आता है, the first thing that comes is, are you required to act? It is an important question. Okay. Is there a duty to act? Are you somebody who has the duty to act? If you're on the road and you're going somewhere, say you have a very important interview that you're going to, or you have an appointment from a doctor that you are needed to reach, and you see that there is a person who's on the side of the road who needs your assistance. Is it mandatory for you to go and help out this person? So this is where the duty to act part comes in. Okay. So first thing, you are not obligated to help out anybody that you see on the road. If it's a stranger, you have the choice of choosing if you want to help this person or not help a person. However, if you are one of so this rule, however, say in case, how do we know if we have a duty to act? Okay, if you're appointed as a trip leader or a guide, so maybe if you're taking a bunch of your friends or maybe clients on a bike ride, okay, then everybody in that group uh, is actually entrusted to you, and then you are obligated to help those guys because they are out there on your on your responsibility. Okay, so if we look at it, a stranger, you are not obligated to help out. But if it is a group of people or a person who's out there because relying on you, then you definitely are within the scope of duty to act to help these people. Okay. Uh, this duty to act is also established if you are the cause of the injury or illness. Okay. So, say if you have caused an accident or because of you there has been a problem, then you definitely have a duty to act. You can't just uh, think that, oh, I'm anyways in a hurry, so I need to get out of here. Okay, that would come across as a hit and run incident. So if you are on the bike and because of you somebody else met with an accident, or you were the one who caused the accident, then you are duty bound to help out those people. Okay, maybe you made a mistake, but don't make the second mistake of running away from them. Now it is your duty to actually help out these people who got into trouble because of your actions. Okay, so we are not discussing right or wrong actions, but we were part to something going wrong, then definitely it's our duty to act. Okay, and lastly, if I go ahead and I tell this person, hi, my name is Dhiren and I am a wilderness first responder, do you need any medical help? Okay, once the patient says yes, I need your help, okay, and I get into the scene, uh, at the scene scenario, I go and I ask for consent, I start talking to the patient and I say, yes, I'm there to help you, and the patient says, yes, you can help me. Or if the patient who's unresponsive, I start working on this patient. Then if I decide, oh, I forgot, I had to go and see a movie, or I had to go on a date, or a restaurant or something like that. Okay. And then I say, okay, you know what? I'm actually like late for something and I need to leave. That is something that is a problem. Okay. So number one, duty to act. It is not obligated. You're not obligated to go and help out a stranger at all. Okay. If you are with a group of people who you are leading or you are in charge of, then you are obligated to those people in case of an incident. If you are the cause of an incident, then you're definitely required to be at the spot and help out because you are again obligated because you created that issue. And lastly, if you volunteer yourself for a particular issue, then now the duty of act has been taken over by you. Okay, and you'll have to go through the entire duration of it, as in you'll have to make sure that you are there till at least somebody better trained than you comes and takes charge of this patient or the patients. Okay, we'll see what happens if we what happens with the duty to act part a little further. But so yeah, I'm sure everybody understood what duty to act was. Now let's see what other things are there. Okay. Now there is the doctrine of negligence. Now what is negligence? Okay, negligence is doing something or not doing something which is part of a proper procedure to save a person. Okay, say for example, in our first section when we learnt about scene safety, we did one, I'm number one, two, not on what happened to you, three, not on me, four, are there any more, five, what's the why? Okay, and we decided to keep ourselves safe. After that, we went inside the scene in the unresponsive patient part, and we saw, we gave our introduction, we took consent from the patient, and then we would start helping out the patient by looking at what life threats are there on the patient. Okay, and slowly and surely we will eliminate all the kinds of life threats that they are there. Okay, so there is airway, we want to open up the patient's airway immediately, because otherwise the patient is not going to be able to breathe. So A comes in first, then we go on to breathing, circulation, and so on and so forth. Any first aid course that you do, okay, will have certain guidelines, some protocol to follow, so that we make sure that we ourselves are safe, the people who are around us or who may be helping us are safe, and how we step by step take away any problems or any life threats out of the context for the patient or the patients. Okay, now, this protocol has to be followed. It's been made because that's the best way to deal with the patient. However, if I decide one fine day that, okay, I find a patient and I decide to omit a step, I decide that I don't want to take the patient's consent. Okay. In such a case, or I decide I don't want to check the patient's airway. Okay. In such a case, what I have done is I have omitted a step in the protocol. Okay. Or in the patient assessment system, and that is a negligent act. Okay, it's possible that I may forget something, but there are things that you can forget, and there are things that you decide not to do. You say, "Arey, I didn't feel that the patient needed their airway to be checked, so I did not check." That is a negligent act. Or if you decide to do something that has been not taught to you. Okay, so you see a movie in which Akshay Kumar uses a stick to relocate his dislocated arm. Okay, or by hitting a drum, whatever he does, and he gets his arm back in. Okay, or you see Sylvester Stallone in Rambo put a bullet, as in the gunpowder of a bullet, in his wound and cauterize the wound. Okay, these are kind of actions which do not fall in a regular first aid class or in your protocol of treating a patient. Okay, and if you go out and do something which does not fall within your regular list of things to do, then you are committing an act of negligence. Okay, so what are the two things in negligence? One is if you omit something that is a part of the rescue process, and second is if you commit something which is not part of the rescue process. So if these two things happen, then you are somebody who has been negligent. Okay, and you could there could be a possible legal procedure on you because you were negligent and the patient suffered further injuries because of your action. So we need to understand that crit. First, I need to understand that do I have a duty to act? And once I do start taking care of a patient, I should not be negligent. Okay, which is a very simple thing. You have been told that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe A, B, C, D, E are the things that you need to do. We just stick to the plan and don't stray away from it, and we can definitely be safe from this doctrine of negligence. Okay. Next, we already saw patient consent in the video. So what happened over there? If the patient was an adult and they were responsive, alert, and oriented to their senses, they could easily give us a verbal consent. Okay, they actually gave us a consent. Yes, I need your help. Okay, in case they don't want your help, it's okay. You don't have to force them. No, no, but take it. No, you need it. No, you can try and convince them. You can tell them. So I remember once I was on a ride to South Bombay, and near Yellow Gate, near as in Kala Ghoda, behind Kala Ghoda, I saw a middle-aged gentleman collapse from their motorcycle. So I stopped my bike. There was it was a Sunday morning, so there was a very tiny amount of traffic, but there were still vehicles which are moving fast, especially buses and taxis in South Bombay. On clear roads, they were like zooming. So I parked my bike a little as in perpendicular to the road, so that anybody who's coming from far, okay, would see the bike and not just go fast over there. Made sure that I was safe when I approached the patient, and we got a slight diversion on that route, and then the cars were passing from the other side. I went up to the gentleman. I asked him, "Sir, I'm first aid trained. I have training in first aid. Could I be of help?" And he was lying down on the ground. He was alert and awake and oriented, and he said, "No, I don't want your help." I asked him, "Is there any reason that you don't want my help? Because I'm trained, I can help you out. You're on the middle of a road." So he's like, "No, I've called for an ambulance service, which he subscribed to. There was some Force One or some kind of an ambulance service that he had a subscription to. So he said, I've called them. They'll come and they'll help me out. I don't want anybody I don't know touching me." So I asked him, "Is it okay if I sit around till the time these guys come in? Okay, because once they are in, then they can help you move, and I'll just make sure that you are safe from the traffic." He said, "Yeah, I have no problems if you wait around. Just don't touch me." So, in case of a consent, it is possible that the patient may or may not give you consent. Okay, you can ask a couple of times or say that, "Is it okay if I stay in that vicinity?" So that the patient knows that they are in charge about who touches them and does not touch them. Okay, if I don't follow consent, okay, the rule of consent, then this could go very, very wrong, right? Say, if I so legally speaking, if you try to touch somebody, okay, or try to hit somebody, or you create an environment wherein the person thinks that you're going to hit them or touch them, okay, such an incident is known as a uh, uh, I'm so sorry. So such an incident is known as an assault. Okay. So the act, when you actually try to hit somebody, or when you try to create a situation when the person is scared that you're going to hit them or touch them, that is known as assault. And if you actually do touch them, okay. So if I do एक चाटा दूंगा या मैं आपको touch करूंगा without your consent, that is assault. But if I actually slap somebody or if I touch somebody without their consent, legally it is known as battery. Okay, and these are proper sections in the Indian Penal Code, assault and battery. And if you don't take consent from a person, you could definitely be charged under those. So we don't want to do this. We want to make sure that our patient knows that we are there to help them. If they don't need our help, okay, stay away. However, when the patient goes unresponsive, the law says that you have a implied consent from this patient. So you can go ahead and start treating the patient in the prescribed way that your first aid training has taught you. So do that. In case during the training, in case during the rescue, the patient becomes responsive, then it is your duty to again ask this patient for consent. Okay. So if the patient gets up and they see you are helping them out, you can tell them, "Hi, my name is Dhiren. You are unresponsive and I was giving you medical aid. Do you want me to continue it?" Okay. If the patient says yes and stays responsive, you can go ahead and continue. Okay. If the patient says no, you should stop. Right. So that was very simple. The doctrine of consent, it's very important. Please remember, the consent part, the implied consent part also is true in case the patient is a minor and there are no legal guardians or no parents of the patient as an available nearby. So if it's a minor, then you have implied consent to help the minor out. Also, with somebody who may be seeming mentally ill or impaired, okay, there is consent, there's implied consent. You can go out and help them. Great. Next is abandonment. Okay, what does abandonment mean? It means that I, as a caregiver, started helping a patient. Okay, remember the part wherein I said I established duty to act by going and talking to a patient, and then I remembered that I have something else to do. So I tell the patient, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. Okay, if I fail to hand over my patient to somebody who's trained as much as I am or better than me, then I am somebody who's as in I'm somebody who's abandoning the patient. Okay. So what we need to make sure is, in case you have established a duty to act, okay, with your patient, then you can only hand them over to somebody who's trained as much as you are or better. Correct? You don't want to hand them over to somebody who's not as trained as you are, or just walk away without handing them over to anybody, because that would be termed as an abandonment. Okay, you are abandoning this patient. आप उसको छोड़ रहे हो. Okay, so make sure that this happens. The correct term for handing over the patient to somebody who's trained as much or better than you is known as upstreaming. So if you upstream your patient, okay, you are doing good. But if you can't upstream your patient, then it would be termed as abandonment. So please make sure that you do not get involved if you can't continue. If you have gotten involved, then don't abandon your patient. Make sure at least you hand over them to somebody who's trained as good as you are or better. Okay, so that's another thing that you should be careful about. Okay. And next, what we have is confidentiality. Okay, so this goes without saying that whatever you and your patient have discussed, or the patient, once you start treating the patient, okay, the patient will give you stuff as an information regarding their health, okay, regarding issues that they have, right? You are asking them for information which is personal information. Where does it hurt? How does it feel? Do you have any medical history, previous medical history? Does anybody in your family have any particular medical history? Have you been injured in a similar manner before? Okay, all these things are personal things, and you should not share this information with anyone apart from maybe your co-rescuer. So if me and Abhishek have been in a rescue together, then of course, because we are both trying to help out this patient, we need to share this information. But apart from that, I should not be sharing this information with anybody who's not related to this case. Okay, and not related to this case includes patients, next of kin or parents or anybody. We are not supposed to share their details with anyone. Okay. For example, if you find a patient on the street who's a girl and is pregnant, okay, you don't or you can't share it. As an adult lady who's pregnant, you're not sharing this information with her husband or her parents or whatever. You can share it with your co-rescuers and the people you upstream her to, like maybe the doctor or the paramedics. You can share that information with them because they're going to need that information to help this person out. However, you are not going to share it with anybody, even with her family members. Okay, so you can't just go out and say, hey, your daughter is pregnant or your wife is pregnant. Okay, this is information which has been passed on to you. Okay, for saving or for helping out this person. Same, you can't start putting out this information on social media. So I can't just go out and put in, oh, I saved Dhiren today who got hurt in his butt or got hurt on his eye or and it became Kanya. I can't put all such kind of information online or on social media or share it with other people because we'll be breaching the confidentiality rule. So always remember, if you're treating another person, no matter what information you get from them, unless you're trying to use this information to get better help rather better medical help for these people, or you are trying to help them out by upstreaming them, the information stays confidential between you and your patient. Great. In the US, there's a legal doctrine known as the HIPAA. Okay, it's a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Uh, this particular doctrine is so stringent that if you're telling, as in if you're communicating on a walkie-talkie or on the phone, okay, you are not allowed to give away the patient's name and their gender as well. Okay, so if you're giving a radio report, it goes, I have a patient who's, or I have a 43-year-old patient, or I have a 50-year-old patient whose chief complaint is blah, 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 blah. And we go on all the way down with all the details apart from the patient's name and their gender. So, world over, there are various laws which are there regarding a patient's privacy. And good practice is keep patient's information confidential. And the last part that we have in today's section is, okay, wait, I'm sorry, guys. Okay, are Good Samaritan laws. Now, Good Samaritan laws are available in all, as in various countries in the world. So it's not just we are in India today, but in India also, the Supreme Court and the road and traffic, the road accident, sorry, the roadways department, okay, the roadways ministry, the Supreme Court, they have all come up with various basic rulings and laws and GRs. And what these major GRs and laws and bills say is that the police will not involve the Good Samaritan for an investigation. What is a Good Samaritan? You decide to go and help out somebody, and it was not necessary, as in it was not required of you to go and help out. Okay, you decided that no, I want to go and help someone. You become the Good Samaritan. Okay, there was probably no duty to act, and you decide to go and act. Okay, even if there was a duty to act, because you are helping out somebody, you are deemed to be a Good Samaritan. So the cops or the police, okay, cannot, because of laws that are there, cannot, should not involve you for investigation. So they can't say, okay, you are the one on the site and you have seen, so you should also get involved with us. So please come to the police station with us and give your name over here. You'll have to come to court. No, you don't have to do that. Okay. Second, hospitals cannot refuse to treat the accident victim. Okay. So say you are close to a hospital and you have an accident victim you are trying to help. The hospitals have to give free first aid at least to these people. Then, depending upon what kind of a hospital it is, they may or may not start charging fees, okay, for their thing. But first aid from the hospital should be free, and definitely the hospitals cannot charge the Good Samaritans for this free first aid. Okay, so and they cannot refuse it either. So if you remember Munna Bhai MBBS, when he has somebody is on a stretcher outside in pain, do they have to fill a form? No. Now the government rules, Supreme Court rulings have precedent set wherein they say that no, first they need to be given first aid, okay, and you don't need to fill out any forms. Okay, so that's another thing which is great, because now we are looking at the patient and we are looking at the problems that the patient has, and we are looking at giving them relief. We are trying to get them to recover instead of trying to fill out other things, how it happened, why it happened. That is secondary. Okay, next what we have is a Good Samaritan, okay, is protected from civil and criminal liability. Okay, so people understand, as in the legal authorities, the courts, the police, everybody, they understand that uh, you are doing whatever is best in your training to try and save a person. So as long as you have not been a negligent rescuer, okay, there will be no civil or criminal liability on you. Okay, I remember I had once rescued a person from the highway, and when I took them to the hospital, uh, after the doctor started looking at them, the police who came to the scene, they started saying that the guy is saying that he was hit by a car, and you are one who was also driving a car. So maybe you are the one who hit this person. Okay, but this doctrine of a as in being a good Samaritan, okay, that is what saved me. I said, I'm sorry, but you cannot start accusing me or trying to put in any civil or criminal liability on me for helping this person. Okay, and the cops had to actually, they understood, yeah, if we start charging a rescuer to help, as in somebody who's gone out and helped a person, we start charging them with some kind of a liability, criminal liability, then they are not going to help out other people. Other people are going to get discouraged. So good Samaritans are protected from civil criminal liability. You do not need to reveal your identity. Okay, you don't need to give your phone number. You don't need to tell your name to the hospital or the police authorities. Okay, because you are somebody who's helped a person, and your comfort is definitely needed over here. If people feel hassled when they are asked for their name, for their phone number, and you should not be asked for that. In case you want to reveal who you are or why you are there, definitely go ahead and do it. But you are well within your rights to keep your identity personal. Okay. Also, if somebody, the police or the authorities on site, or maybe insurance agents come and tell you that you need to be an eyewitness, okay, you cannot be compelled to do so. You have the choice to say that no, I don't want to be involved with this case any further than getting this victim or this patient medical aid. Okay, so those were the few things that uh, we needed to see. So these are the basic medical legal issues that you need to know and understand. First is duty to act. Second is negligence. What is negligence? Third is patient consent. Next is abandonment. Okay. So if you upstream a patient, you are not abandoning them. Okay. So please upstream them to not abandon them. Then there's confidentiality. And then lastly, the laws of the land, which help a good Samaritan. They help a person who is trying to help out somebody. So today's short but definitely important session was about getting you to understand how legally you are protected when you go out to help somebody, right? So Abhishek, are you? Could we come back?
Hey, thanks, Dhiren. Thanks for that lovely, quick, and short noted session, but it was crisp. I am sure once the video goes live for this session, a lot of people will read through it and understand. And if they have any queries, they can reach out to you on the mobile number that you have. I had one question to ask. Now, there are in riding community, you have women only groups who go out on rides, uh, whether it is groups or a group of friends without a club or with a club or on a sponsored ride. Then there are groups and friends who go in both genders. How do you see today a situation in the medical legal while we speak about safety and you spoke about the 5 steps in the beginning in the first session, and then how do you handle a unresponsive patient in the second one, which should ideally give an understanding to all the riders as to how to handle the the gender part of it also, and how sensible they need to be when they are handling that as a situation. But in the medical legal, is there any difference uh, for genders when it comes to a man trying to help a woman, or a group of women trying to help a man, uh, either way? So if you can throw some light on that.
So, so gender is a very important thing. As in, you brought out a point which actually makes sense. The thing is, it's all about how you approach a patient. Okay, if you approach a patient professionally, you're talking to the patient, you're making them understand. There's going to be no problem. Okay, you have taken the patient's consent. Okay, you're trying to help them out. They should be. I have helped out patients who are both men or women. Okay, so gender does not come out as a problem if you're professional. Okay, and this all is a part of how you are trained. Okay, so please, when you're going to take up a proper course to become a first aider or get certified or trained to save lives, okay, make sure you're doing it with a good company or so that they teach you how to deal with somebody from from a different gender than yours, okay, in ways that you can keep the dignity of this patient. Okay, keeping the dignity of the patient is what we are trying to focus on when we are talking about gender differences. There could be a chance that I have to examine a patient who's a woman, okay, and the woman may not be so outright bold to let me check the injuries that are there on her body. Maybe she has an injury on her shoulder, okay, or maybe she has an injury on her lower abdomen. Okay. Now I need to check this as in the process of me giving as in medical help to somebody. I need to check these things with my eyes. I can't just go on the thing that somebody saying it's hurting me. So I just check on the shirt. Oh, it's hurting you. Okay, okay, okay. I can't do that. I have to go to the skin level and check exactly what is wrong in that area. Okay. And if my patient is does not consent with that, okay, then I should not move ahead. It's simple. We don't have consent, we can't move ahead. We have to step back. What we can do is we can ask somebody from our group who's maybe a girl to help out. Or if there are in the uh, say in the people who are looking around, as in if there are other women in the vicinity, you can ask those women to come in and help out with stuff which your patient is finding a little difficult to deal with, okay, because you are not a woman, or because you are a woman and the person who's hit is a man and he's not finding it comfortable, they'll withdraw their consent. So in that case, what you can do is you can ask somebody from their same gender to help you out, trying to find out what is wrong with them. Okay, but professionalism is something that you need, and that only comes through proper training and a lot of practice. Okay, I'm sure as doctors, if you have seen doctors, we go to doctors who are guys, we go to doctors who are women. Okay, there are gynecologists who are male, and they have a proper practice. Okay, it's not that males can't treat women or women can't treat men. Okay, so as long as you're professional, you are, I think, good to go.
Thanks, Dhiren. That was informative as always. I just wanted to also check now. There are cases of uh, and incidents where, because of the high-speed motorcycles that we have in the country now, and highways becoming better, there's a lot of animal accidents that motorcycles or motorcyclists get into at times, and especially in the smaller towns and smaller villages. While one can handle the crowd if the person is uh, conscious of how they want to deal with the situation, but in such cases of uh, animal cruelty because of an accident or unfortunate incident that could happen, uh, the legal angle will come in later. uh, I know it's a slightly different topic, but it's also about handling people there, and while you can just pay money and get away with it, because that's probably cattle and livelihood for someone in that small town. Uh, how do you handle legal cases or legal situations around those type of incidents?
Yeah, your question is a little twisted. Okay, I'll try and simplify it. Okay, like we saw today's session. Okay, remember this part. Okay, duty to act. If it's your duty to act, you should definitely stay back and start thinking on it. Okay, we are going to come across a lot of such questions wherein we'll be, what if I hit a cow and then there are like 500 people out there to uh, avenge that cow. Okay, these are questions which will come keep on happening, and there's no straight answer to it. Okay, it's how you handle the situation. uh, However, if it was your duty to act, you should definitely stop and try and negotiate your way out of it. Okay, you need to make sure that if you were the one who created the situation, then how you can help out. Okay, so that is something that we have covered. Second is, remember, I am number one is the first thing that you should understand. Okay, so if the scene of incident is not safe for you, okay, you should also decide, like, then that is not a rescue scenario anymore, then it's you trying to save yourself. Okay, so do your best to make sure that you are, first of all, not in a scenario like this. If you're riding at controlled speeds, if you're riding with proper gear, if you're riding with proper traffic laws, like giving signals, stopping at as in slowing down during zebra crossings, all of these, you should not in the first place have been in such an incident. Okay, but an accident takes place. What you can best do is try and negotiate. If you are somebody who wears body cams, like you have a GoPro on or something, uh, you would be lucky if your GoPro was on at that time and you caught the incident on camera. But the situation is then gone from a first aid or a rescue situation to something completely else. So let's just end this part, as in this question, with do what is required at that point in time, do what you think was the best. uh,
Sure, Dhiren. Thanks. So I think today's session was quite detailed. There were a lot of presentation notes that you mentioned, and you spoke about all the 5 or 6 points that one needs to go through uh, in the medico-legal situation. After you've done the first and the second step, or the first and the second series, which everybody can watch on our YouTube channels of Jumpstart Outdoors, Rolling Cycles, as well as Let's Ride YouTube channels. Uh, Thank you, Dhiren, once again. What would be our fourth session all about?
So our fourth session is on wounds and burns. Okay, we are going to just look at how to, uh, uh, as in how to deal with wounds, how to deal with burns. Okay, and in case of big bleeds, okay, uh, what should we do in case of big bleeds? So that is going to be our next session, uh, and we'll see you there. It's going to happen next.
Great. So, Dhiren, just one request, because we will be on 15th of August, and a lot of riders will be on the road,
Okay.
for on that day on 15th of August.
Okay.
Can we do the session the following Sunday
Yeah, sure.
at 5 p.m.?
Yep, we can.
Yeah, so we can take a break on 15th of August. Let the riders enjoy their ride on that day, keeping themselves safe, as always, wearing a mask, keeping social distance, and riding well, and enjoying the camaraderie of brotherhood that motorcyclists are known for. So let's have the session post the 15th August Sunday, and the following Sunday after that, which will be wounds and burns, as you mentioned. And thank you again for your time, Dhiren. It was pleasure talking to you. And for everyone watching us, uh, this session, the story will be posted, or the particular video will be posted on Jumpstart Outdoors, Roaring Cycles, and Let's Ride YouTube channel. We have the previous 2 sessions already there. Please go and watch them. It's for all of our safety. It's a free session, and please spread the word around so that more and more people and more friends and riders, or even drivers of cars, right? So it will help all of us. uh, be safe, have a happy weekend, and stay healthy, ride safe, and enjoy your 15th August ride. We'll see you soon then, next Sunday after 15th August
That's
at the same time,
22nd
5 p.m.
August. 22nd August.
22nd August. Let's do the fourth session, which is wounds and burns. Thank you, Dhiren, again,
No
and
problem.
we'll see you soon. Take care.
All right, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.